Hoping for a third time charm, huh, by the way. Once again, welcome back to Let's Talk Content. This has never happened before, but anyway, that's part and parcel of life. So we are waiting for Vanshika. Apparently, there's some tech glitch happening. She's not able to. I have just sent her the request. I think now it'll work. It should. It should. It's my third time. Anyway, meanwhile, people, I'll just give you an idea about Vanshika. She is a LinkedIn creator, brand strategist, and along with that, a communications consultant. One second. I have sent her the invitation. She should be joining super soon.
Hi.
Wow. What happened?
I don't know. It was not letting me join the live. I tried so many times. It was just not letting me.
Okay, no worries. So, people, as promised, we have by far, according to be number one LinkedIn creator of India. Along with that, we have a brand strategist and a communication consultant with us. She's been awarded as LinkedIn Top Voice in 2021, and she has more than 100K followers. Let's just put it as more than 110K followers right now. Not only that, she's been working with some brilliant brands, and apart from that, she was also nominated as top 30 women in content by Pepper Content in 2022. And currently, she's part of a creator grant between Pepper Content and Class Plus in the same year. Is there anything left, Vanchi, which you've not tried till now? Tell me.
Skydiving
Scuba diving or skydiving?
on my list of things that I need to do. I need to go skydiving.
I knew. I knew you'll say either scuba diving, skydiving, or something like that.
Scuba
But
diving is
coming
nice
back,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
nice. But coming back to you, Vanshika, we met recently, and I know that you know that I'm your fan when it comes to your work on LinkedIn,
I
specifically. Now coming back to like in 2019, you almost decided that you decided like you'll quit your job. You started as a consultant in 2020. I know this story. And the best part, people, about Vanchika is like she'll put everything such a cash manner. You'll feel life is so easy. And you will not realize the amount of hard work this girl puts behind it. You will just feel, ये तो इतना simple है. That's because she puts it like that. Now, today you have to be honest and tell me, what was that point when you decided that you want to become a brand strategist? When you decided
so
in 2020 you will become a consultant?
yeah, I think it was quite a natural progression, which was kind of nice for me because I didn't just jump into it. It happened with time. And that gave me the space to kind of understand people, understand how this works, what I need to do, and how I can better myself. But getting into brand strategy was not as easy because I don't have a formal degree in brand strat. I graduated with marketing and management, and I've worked in the field for about 4 or 5 years before quitting and deciding that, okay, like I don't want to work anymore for someone, I want to work for myself. But brand strategy and jumping into brand strategy, starting out my own thing has really been an amazing journey because I feel like I'm learning about myself more and more every day, and at the same time getting better at my craft, and that's like a happy optimum that everybody should have, and I'm really blessed to be able to do that. Um, I think jumping into brand strat was definitely risky because, like I said, I don't have a degree in it. I don't have like a formal thing to back me up, being like, oh, I studied from here, this is why you should trust me. But the process of kind of overcoming that barrier and proving to people that I can do it and I can do a great job at it has been a really interesting one, and one where I learned a lot about myself, the craft, and the space that I'm in.
That is so cool. And coming back to your starting point, which was 2020, which was definitely a year which is going down in our history because of pandemic as well. Pandemic was there. You decided you wanted to start something of your own, that is becoming a communication consultant, probably a brand consultant. How did you manage that? How did you manage your first ever client? Should be my question to you.
Yeah. Little did I know when I put my papers in 2019 that there is going to be a pandemic and everybody's going to be locked up and there's going to be no jobs. So I put down my papers thinking that I will go find a job. And I did that. I actually flew to Bombay, Bangalore, some other places in Delhi I had interviewed at, and I was actively interviewing because I was like, okay, I quit my job, now I'll jump into another job. But then when the pandemic hit in 2020 beginning and like things were like not as bad as it got later, but they were still kind of bad. I
Right.
was not getting a job because they were just like, oh, priorities have changed.
Hmm.
And so it was like literally one person, and everybody who has known me through the years knows the impact that Saurabh has had on me. And he told me as a joke, like very casually, we were sitting at coffee one day, we were at Cafe Coffee Day, and he goes, यार तू कंसल्टिंग ट्राई कर 3 महीने ट्राई कर देखते क्या होता है एंड आई जस्ट लुक्ड एट हिम एंड आई एम लाइक तू पागल है क्या मैं कंसल्टेंट बनूं तू पागल है क्या एंड ही वाज लाइक कर ले 6 महीने ट्राई कर 3 महीने ट्राई कर आई वाज लाइक कूल and so I went at it. So what I did, my first instinct was obviously to jump on LinkedIn and go see the people that I knew and people that were hiring. So actually I started out in content. I started out with blogs and doing that kind of stuff. Then it moved into website content, and dhire, like within 3 months, like touch wood, I can't complain. Like he wasn't lying. I actually closed my first 6-figure deal, and then I was like,
Wow.
wait, it takes me like 2 to 3 months to earn this in a job, but like now I know how to crack 6-figure deals. So if I just keep repeating the process, I will end up with more money than I did in my job. And that was actually a reality. Like, I mean, touch wood, the first ITR that I filed after I quit my job was higher than what I was getting paid in my job. Not exceptionally, exponentially
Of
marginal,
course.
but marginal enough to make me feel that this is worth my time. And it has just been an experience since then. I can't complain.
Wow, that is so brilliant. And when you said like in pandemic, you were planning to, find a job for yourself, something that's what happened with me. I was sacked during the
Yeah.
pandemic, which is like cool because that gave birth to Odd Story. So I'm pretty happy. I think everything falls in place eventually.
I agree. And you need to give it that time and space for it to fall in place. It's not like you quit your job and the next day, like it's so crazy to hear these freelancer stories like, oh my god, I quit my job and within 10 days I got my 7 figure.
No,
That
no.
shit, that's all a lie. That's all a big
Yeah.
fat lie. Like it's really the struggle and the hustle and the actually like going for it every single day. Like when you have a job, like you have to be at work at a certain time, you have some responsibilities,
Yes.
someone is there that
Yes.
you have to report to. But when you're working on your own, like you can start work at whatever time you want, you can do whatever you want, you can quit work and whatever. Like there's so much of choice and so much of room in the middle that it's actually very hard for freelancers to find that rhythm and keep it going. But
I
the thing
agree.
is that once you get into that rhythm and you get used to the fact that if I don't work my ass off, I'm not going to make money and I won't have money to do things I want to do. Then it all kind of falls into place and you're like, okay, I'm going to wake up at 9, I'm going to start doing this, I'm going to do that. And that's really like what really kicks off the engine is the motivation inside to be like, okay, I'm not working a job, I'm working for myself. I have me to answer to every single night. And
Exactly.
if you're not answering to yourself and you're not happy with the answers that you're giving yourself, at the end of the day, you're doing something wrong. It's
There's a
better that you
guilt
quit and
that,
go back to a job.
yeah, there's a guilt that kicks in if you take a day off, or half day Sunday. You're like, no, dude. If it would have been a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, would you be able to do that? No, get back to work right now.
Yeah,
And
exactly. Like,
something this, yeah,
it's a lot of self motivation, right? Like there's no reason for you to work. Like if you just want to quit and lay in bed all day and watch Netflix, you can. And there are days where, like, as an entrepreneur, like you can actually be like, I don't have work today, so I'm just gonna chill, and that is completely okay. So like, there's a good side and then there's a bad side, and you need to figure out what works for you and how it works for you, because I think a lot of issues are formed by listening to other people and following their advice,
I
even
agree.
though a lot of what's on social media comes with a pinch of salt, and a lot of people take it too literally when you should not be. Like everything you read on social media is highly curated content. It's content that is written with like, oh my god, someone's going to be reading this, let me say the best things I can about myself or my work. And that's not always the reality. Like when you see, I mean, there are so many days randomly on LinkedIn when you'll see, oh, I just closed my this deal. Oh, I just made this much amount of money. Oh, I did this. Oh, I did that. And that's all great. I mean, good for them, great for them. But nobody really talks about the hard work that goes behind it. It's not that you just closed $100,000 deal. It's like I followed up with this client for 6 months. I chased him down. I went to meet him in Australia. Like, all of these things that matter. Nobody really talks about it, which over glamorizes the money part, but not the hard work part that needs to be put into actually sustaining a freelance business.
But you do on your LinkedIn profile very often.
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, if I'm like, yeah, I mean, I thought I'm very happy to say भी हो सकता है. Like I was in Dubai recently, and that photo of me holding those arcade. I was literally at an arcade for 3 hours with my best friend. Doing what? Doing nothing. It was like brain damage to a certain level. We were just being stupid kids, and that was so fun because like had I been in office, I wouldn't have had the time to go to this arcade at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So
that is so true.
yeah,
I mean, that way, though, yeah, there are perks, and plus there are things, there are pros and cons to this thing, and I am getting to know them every day, trying to figure out my shit around it majorly. But tell me, Vanshi, when did you decide that D2C is your niche or tech founders are your niche? I don't see that formal education coming down there. So how did you decide that I'll work for these brands?
Yeah, so I started working with a few, and then I think sometimes there's just this thing that just seems right, and there's gut instinct, and there's no explanation for it. Like I really like tech founders. I really like the way they think. I like how they're using tech for good. Like that's my main motivation, that they're using tech to make someone else's life better. And the way that they're doing it so creatively, and the ideas that they have, like they're just so interesting, which is why I jumped into the D2C and tech space. With D2C, what I really think is interesting and why I jumped into it is that because without a brand strategy, a D2C brand cannot survive. You're not a legacy brand, you're not a McDonald's, you're not a Jockey, you're not an Apple, right? These are all legacy brands. And as a D2C brand, when you remove the filter of everybody that could have marketed for you, you need to start standing up for yourself. And that's what brand strategy really helps you do, which is why it's so important in the D2C space to have a brand strategy, because without it, you're just going to be one amongst the competitors, which is not the ideal space for you. You don't want to be that person.
True. True, and there's so much into it. It literally sometimes starts from an Instagram or a LinkedIn page for people, and then they build it into a brand. And definitely, if they work on their brand strategy, which is definitely the initial step, then only things will work in their favor.
Yeah.
So you've come on multiple podcasts, huh? By the way, even Pepper Content's podcast. There are a couple of more. When are you starting your own? By let me know.
That's a good question. It's been on my mind. It's happening. Hopefully, sometime soon. It's happening. It's on the cards. I've been thinking about it.
It wasn't a subtle push, I would say. It was just direct out there.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually just talking to someone on a Google Meet like half an hour ago, and like I literally was like, she's like, well, why do you post content on LinkedIn? Why do you share so openly? Why do you take a stand if you don't feel something is right? Why do you say things that are not always like, like, हाँ ठीक है. I just like literally spur of the moment I blurted out that there is no person who's standing in India speaking out for Indians in terms of the Indian ecosystem for brand strat. Because I was telling her, like, theoretically, like, if you go watch all of these amazing brand strategists who have done much better work than I have and have been there for longer than I have, all of those concepts work in the West. It works to some extent here with a pinch of salt. So there's no one really speaking about the ins and outs of how the Indian ecosystem works and how it is to deal with founders in the Indian ecosystem, and like simple things like pricing, understanding your services, all of those things, right? You really need to hear it from someone who's in your place. And if you hear someone sitting in the West or any other place other than India, that information cannot be used in India if you take it word by word. It's just not possible because every ecosystem functions differently, right?
Correct.
And that's the beauty of it. because they function differently is why ecosystems thrive at different points and for different reasons. And like for right now, for example, Indian D2C is still at a very nascent stage. Like there
Yes.
is so much to grow, right? But at the same time, if you go hear D2C podcasts in US and the West side, right? They're all pretty matured at this point. D2C is
Exactly.
not a new
That is
concept for them. So how you talk to founders, what you say, what you're doing, what you're pitching, how you're pitching, all like everything changes based on the Indian ecosystem. And there's really no one that I can think of that is like representing brand and marketing, brand slash marketing for India. And that's like one of the visions
that's
of the
where you
vision
come
board.
in.
Yeah,
That's where you
that is
come
on the
in.
vision board.
All right. Now you already have more than 110K followers on LinkedIn. You have to tell me how do you plan your content, and please do not tell me what you told me earlier, because this is for a lot of budding content creators if they're using LinkedIn as a platform. What do you think they should keep in mind? Maybe a list of 3 to 5 things when they are starting out on LinkedIn or planning their content accordingly.
Yeah, first things first, know your audience. Know who you're talking to or who you want to talk to. I think that is really important. Second is making sure that your content is relevant, makes sense, and has resonance. I think that's very important. Don't just post because you have to post. Post something if it has a little bit of you in it. Add your take onto everything. Don't just be like, oh, there's this concept called Dash in marketing and this is what it does. Nobody's going to read it. And the third thing is networking. Definitely, your first connections impact how your post is going to react and do in the algorithm. So make sure you're connecting with the right kind of people. Make sure that they are
That's very
active.
nice. Yeah.
Make sure that they are also posting and commenting, because a dead connection is not going to do anything for you. And the way the algorithm works is it shows it to the first maybe 5-10% of your audience, then the next 5 10, then the next 5 10, right? So in that mess, if most of your connections are dead connections, like you could be having the CEO of a very famous company, but if their LinkedIn is dead, they're a dead connection to you. You rather get on DM, get their number, and disconnect them.
Correct.
So I think these 3 things. And the last one and the most important one is stay consistent. And consistent doesn't mean 5 days in a row. Consistency means 3 times in a week if you want to. Consistency means 3 times in a day if you want to. Right? Whatever it is, you have to be consistent with your effort. If you go Gaia for a little bit in the middle or you're not active enough, the algorithm will not pick up the signs that you're trying to build your profile. So, like for example, a couple of weeks ago, I was just completely off LinkedIn, and like my first 3-4 posts after that, when I got back and started regularly posting, went to shit. And now, like I'm seeing like that traction coming
Again,
back,
yeah.
and it takes time, right? Because to an algorithm, it's prioritizing creators that are actively creating content, commenting, engaging. And so if you fall back, you've fallen back in the ranks of the algorithm, and that's just like, don't be algorithm run, because that is also the wrong way to look at it. Because when you're starting out, it's actually a very uphill battle, because you're fighting against everybody that has been posting for years and years before you. But if you just stay consistent, irrespective of what that means to you, does it mean 2 posts a day? Does it mean 1 post every alternate day? Does it mean you only post on the weekend? Whatever works for you, just do that and stay consistent, and you'll build a community around yourself. And then that community will then help take you to the next level, which is when you start going to the second connections and third connections. And that's how you build it, right? So don't get caught up in the like, hey, you need to post 5 times a week, you need to have like these many words, you need to post this, you need to do that. There is no right, there is no wrong. Do what feels right for you, and try out all the different formats. I think is something that I tell everybody. Try out video, try out text, try out polls, try out carousels. Because at the end of the day, it's giving a sign to the algorithm that you're trying out all of their features, which it likes.
Okay.
So, like LinkedIn's new carousel feature, which has that auto scrolling function.
Right, right.
So I tried that recently, and I noticed my post did pretty well compared to like other ones that I've done. So if you try out newer things that are on the LinkedIn's algorithm, you'll realize that it's prioritizing your content over others. And it is an uphill battle. Give yourself like 3 months, right? It's not going to be like you suddenly start posting 5 times and you'll see community and you'll see people. That's not true. Give yourself like 3 months to build, to understand simple things like formatting. How long should your post be? so many technical things. So like,
Hmm.
give it that time to happen. Don't expect it to happen in one week.
But when did you decide that LinkedIn is your gig?
So I started posting on LinkedIn back in probably 2016, if I'm not wrong.
Hmm.
And I was just graduating at that point, looking for a job, and I was like posting. But LinkedIn really kicked up. So I moved to India in 2020, and I had no friends, no business connects. I knew nobody here because I've never lived here. And I instinctively jumped to LinkedIn because like Facebook is too boring at this point. And this is 2018, so I'm like, who even uses Facebook? So I used
Hmm.
LinkedIn to start finding alumni from my college. And that is also how I got my first job, because I found these two wonderful gentlemen in Gurgaon, and that's where I worked my first job. So I started with alumni, then I slowly started like talking to founders, and dheere dheere, I think since 2018, it has really like picked up. It picked up massively in 2020, mid to about 2021, when I was doing a lot of video content. LinkedIn had just started with video,
Hmm.
and I did an insane amount of video content, which I should get back to because I enjoy doing video content. It's just that
Hmm.
I don't know, it just gotten caught up with too many things. But yeah, I mean, it's been a journey, and like, I don't know, like, it's just, I feel like something is missing from my life right now if I don't post on LinkedIn. So that's why I try and do it for myself, because I'm like, shit, I do post. Unless I'm like genuinely really busy and I
Hmm.
don't have time to post, I will make that time to post and say something that will help somebody somewhere in the world. And that's
I
kind of what's
realize
been
it's
working
not
so far.
only that you post on LinkedIn, there's another beautiful aspect to it, that you engage with other people's content and also try and help them with their own
Yeah,
connects. I was just
yeah.
going through your LinkedIn, I realized like you have been sharing people's contact. Hey, this may work for you. And that is very sweet. That is actually the next step if you want to build a community. Because
Yeah,
it's very easy to, I mean, if content comes naturally to you, it's easier to post. But it's more important how you manage your connects or how you network overall.
absolutely. And I think, I mean, the concept of good karma exists on social media. Because if you do good, you will get good in return. And like, whenever someone tags me in a post, like, I feel so honored that they remembered me out of their 100,000 connections, right? Like, the fact that they picked me to tag on any post, whatever it is, it's all with good intent. But the fact that they remembered me means a lot to me. And it's amazing, because like I feel like, okay, someone can think of you, you can take those 2 seconds out to think of them.
Correct.
Be it your freelancer friends, be it your brand strategy friends, be it people that are founders. If the post is relevant, tag them, because that tells them that you are thinking of them, right? it's
Correct.
it's more of a it's more of like building that good karma circle around you, that hey, I thought of you when I saw this post, even though I didn't have to. And then you'll see it coming back. So like, this is obviously like very advanced level, because you need to have some sort of way to remember that X person is equal to X thing, which is not always doable. But like, if there is someone that you can think of, like a quick LinkedIn search, right? Like, somebody's looking for, say, a graphic designer. I'll do a quick LinkedIn search, see who all I know, and then pick up two, three that I know and I trust, and I'll tag them as a way of saying that, hey, I thought of you. Next time you see something that maybe I could fit into, think of me. And it's always a give and take on social.
That's very nice. Actually makes a lot of sense. And you are definitely bagging a lot of good karma on that, because I realize like you literally do it almost every day.
Yeah,
Now
I
coming
try.
back to you, no, you do it. You're too good at it. Also, coming back to you were nominated for top 30 women in content by Pepper Content. How did that happen? I remember the
uh,
post there where you mentioned that it came as a surprise
it was
to you.
actually a surprise. Like, they just casually like asked in passing, and I was like, "Ha, theek hai." Like, do I have to do anything? Like, why me? I always ask these questions, like, why me? मैंने क्या किया? But yeah, it was actually a very happy surprise, and to be listed among some other women that I really admire myself and follow myself and religiously read their posts. It was truly amazing. And I think, see, at the end of the day, it's not about the end, because like I said, a lot of people see the end goal but not all the work that has gone into it. I
Right.
probably posted close to like, I don't know, 2,000 times on LinkedIn. I have my own channel on Medium. I write about brand strategy and freelancing. I'm off and on Instagram. I do a lot of these podcasts and stuff. So everything is content. Like Pepper Content would say, everything is content.
Correct.
So like it's just like mini blocks, and then it adds up, and it was a very happy surprise.
That's very nice. Okay, you have to tell me this. Influencers, sports persons, actors, everybody's getting on LinkedIn. What is happening?
So the thing is, there's probably a push from LinkedIn side because these people are all on Instagram, all on Twitter, and LinkedIn's probably
Correct.
feeling a bit of FOMO, which is why they're incentivizing them to get online and equipping them with the tools to get online. But I think that's good. I think that everybody should be on every platform as much as possible. But again, take it with a pinch of salt that all of these people, I don't know how many of them are actually posting. They
That is
probably
true.
hired out a social media agency, or they
That is
probably hired out a PA or a content writer. So take it with a pinch of salt that maybe the idea was theirs, but it's been written and published, and all of those comments that you see, those are probably, I don't think Sunil Shetty has the time to reply to like 500 comments. So take it with a pinch of salt. It's good that they are there on LinkedIn and it's getting the much needed publicity that it is getting. But at the same time, take it with a pinch of salt that this is probably not the person because of who they are as a person.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
I wouldn't have the bandwidth and the money and the time to hire someone else to write my post. So everything you see is legitimately me, right? But when you're at that level, then there is a
You
little
can
bit
have
of
a
like,
team. Yeah.
yeah, you're probably going to have a team who's going to manage it for you. And that's fine. So read it, take it with a pinch of salt, and move on. I mean, read it. It's good advice. Sunil Shetty has been posting some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
I think Hardik got on LinkedIn recently, so they're inviting people, which is
From
great. They should.
influences, Masoom Minnawala to
Yeah.
Hardik,
No, she's been
then
there a
to
while. Masoom has been there a
yeah,
while.
but
Yeah.
then that also happened this year only. Initially, this year only. So
Yeah, because
of course,
LinkedIn is
like
not
yeah,
their platform. Yeah, like they are all Insta first, right? Like
exactly,
they're
exactly.
Insta and Twitter first kind of people. So LinkedIn is probably pushing them to come online and equipping them and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I would rather follow them on Insta and Twitter because I feel like Twitter is a place that they'll post themselves. LinkedIn, I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. Who knows? We'll never know.
Coming back to India's creator economy, it is definitely booming, and by with pandemic things have changed. There are creators everywhere. You have become a very popular LinkedIn creator yourself, but when you correlate this with LinkedIn, India's creator economy, content creators on LinkedIn itself, where do you see this going in the coming
I
years?
I definitely think that being a creator is a privilege and it's an honor. I think that a lot of people take this creator tag very lightly because being a creator is actually a full-time job. Like I
Yes.
have debated and dabbled about it. Should I just quit whatever I'm doing and become a creator and just post and write and create videos, really good, high quality content about brand strat? See, the creator game is always a long-term game. Creator game is never a short-term game. It's not like you jump on a platform and that like anybody that calls themselves a creator, like by not doing without doing it for a significant amount of time, is not a creator, right? Being a creator is proof in the numbers, the engagement, the
Yeah.
stats, right? Till you have those, you're not a creator. You are a wannabe creator, and that's the difference, right? So being a creator is a full-time job. It's not a side hustle. Very few people can manage it as a side hustle and this. But when they're managing it, it's at a side hustle. If you ask any of them, it's probably like my weekends are full with creating content for my
Correct.
creator stuff, right? And so there is that little bit of give and take that you have to do if you want to be a creator. But I think the creator economy is definitely getting bigger and better because of all the opportunities of people to find a way to make money, make that money, and for people to build a community around themselves and trust them, and gives them a lot of other perks and benefits. Being a creator is also a long-term game because, like something like YouTube, right? You don't get paid till you reach a certain amount of
Exactly.
followers
Yeah.
and engagement, right? So building up that slope is really hard. Instagram, for example, like the first 10K is the hardest. Once you reach 10K, then you'll just see like your stuff getting recognized and stuff. But the first 10K is probably the hardest for every creator. And just like that, like every platform has its ups and downs, perks and downsides. And it's not as easy as people think to be a creator. It's not as easy as, ठीक है, like I just take a camera and I
No.
record. It can be in the nascent days, but as you grow, right? Like look at Ankur Warikoo, for example. Like look at the quality of his videos. Look at the editing. Look at the subtitling. The way he's like that video that you see is probably not a one take video. It's probably taken 10 times, cut, chopped, edited, put together. So like a creator of that level requires you to invest in your business, get people on board, think of yourself like a creator where you're not taking a project, like you are just like, I am going to create full stop and I'm going to teach people how to create, right? And that is a mindset in itself. It's not easy to be a creator at all. It's very, very hard.
It is. It is. But I think now is the right time, creators, if that is what you want to do, you. But obviously, you need to have the skin in the game. If you don't
Yeah.
have it, if you're just fluffing around, then though it won't work because there are numerous number of creators who are genuinely putting out good content.
Yeah, and you're already fighting with people that have been doing this. Like, you're not the first person to do this, you're already the 100th person. So keep that in mind. And to fight those top 99, you're going to have to fight that uphill battle. And the only way to do it again is through really good content. I know this is
Content.
about content, but it is literally about good content and people listening to you because you have a differentiated point of view or you're helping them. You're like, there are only a couple of ways to engage people, right? Either you entertain them or you inform them or you educate them, right? There are only three ways, mota that you can do it,
Yeah.
right? And if you're not doing any of those and you're just repeating content that everybody's seen, you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to be stuck in the same range of
Right.
content. Like,
Yeah.
you're just going to be stuck. So it's a long term game. If you're ready to play it, go for it.
Are
But
you going for it?
have other. I don't think I want to be a creator. Like actually, like I am happy being a creator at the space and the time that I have right now and what it takes. And I really enjoy creating content. But the thing is, I don't do it under pressure right now. I do it when I want to, which is
Yeah.
what I want
That
to
is true.
enjoy. Because if I'm a creator, I'm going to be like, okay, shit, now I need to send a newsletter. Now I need to do a podcast. Now I need to do a video. Now I need to do a promo reel. And I'm not a person that's creative every single day, right? And it's quite hard. It's not as easy as it sounds. So I prefer to like I enjoy the work part of it. I actually enjoy doing what I'm doing, and the creative part of it is an add-on that I'm really blessed to have. And I savor it and I do it and I try and do as much as I can humanly possible to put content wherever I can on all the platforms that I can. So it's a genuine attempt. It might not come off as so because if I disappear from Instagram, it's probably because I'm busy or I've taken a holiday.
Yeah, of
Right?
course.
Creators don't have that.
Yeah, they
Creators
don't have
don't
that
have that
visibility.
leverage. For them, it is like I have to post on LinkedIn. I have to do this. I have to do this. It's a full checklist, and like that to some level, like makes me claustrophobic. That there are so many things that you need to take care of when you're a creator, which I just don't want to. I want to enjoy creating for the joy of creating. If that's the
That
simplest
makes
way.
so much sense, actually. And I had a conversation with Anshu in the series only, and she always told me, hey, even if you want to become a creator, do always have something which you can rely on because creating content is brilliant, but you don't know when you'll be out of relevance. Either it's just, upscaling yourself time and again, but it's a lot of effort. So have a bank to fall on could be like just the way you're doing. Just like, or if you want to become a content creator, then you have to be out there. There's no other way.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is your 24/7 thing. You have to go crazy like this. This is a game which is like changing every day.
Yeah, I agree. And this it's not just putting yourself in front of a camera, right? Like there are
Yes.
so many things. Like you first need to research, then you write your script, then you record, you edit. Like it's just being a creator is not as easy and not as glamorous as people think. And when people see other people at like, oh my God, this person has like 100,000 people, that's taken time.
A
It
lot
didn't
of
just
time
come
and
to them.
effort.
Yeah, it didn't just come to them. And again, we're all fighting the algorithm at the end of the day. So, yeah,
That is
algorithm. When to listen to us, it listens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And like, you have to always have a plan B if you're a creator. I mean, and again, like, you have to figure out if you're that type of a person that can say, I
Yeah.
don't work
Yeah.
at all, I just want to create. Is that something you can humanly do?
Yeah, that is so
I-
true. I agree.
Not as easy as it looks or sounds.
I totally agree. And thank you so much, Vanshi, for this. I know I've been pushing you for this, and thank you finally for taking time out for this.
Yes.
This means a lot to
Same
me,
here.
and it was lovely having you here. And you've been so insightful. I'm sure this has helped a lot of people out here who were there being part of this particular live. Thank you so much for you guys also to be here on a festive day, like the day you, I'm sure you must be celebrating with your family, taking out time to be a part of this live session. You also, thank you. And obviously, we'll stay in touch. When are you coming back to Bombay?
Soon.